saw?
Yeah, basically to summarize it, part of my job was to know everything that was going on in the military and what type of impact that might have on human health, and then the environmental aspects and impacts. What chemicals are we using? How are we disposing of it? Kind of cradle to grave. So we were the internal compliance people for following OSHA and EPA standards. One part of that process was to approve chemicals, hazardous materials. You know, what are you using? Why do you need it? Where's it being used? And tracking that disposal. After it being brought to my attention about chemtrails or geoengineering, I used to think it was crazy. It actually was disrespectful to my line of work, because here we are trying to prevent environmental aspects and impacts and not have anybody get sick from our operations. But in an attempt to debunk, it changed my life. I started noticing things. I started noticing large quantities on the system where I would approve chemicals that did not have a manufacturer name, wasn't tied to a building, and that was normal protocol. When I started asking questions, I slowly became demonized.
Lost your job.
After that, when I asked again and people realized I was kind of being more vocal about it on social media, I was starting to be thrown into a mental institution and have my daughter taken away. That changed my life. I no longer view the military the same way, and I feel like after 9 years of trying to uphold an oath, I'm able to do that now.
A long time ago, people talked about seeding clouds with silver iodide
to make it rain.
Or dry ice to make it rain. Well, the military has long wanted to prevent the fall of rain, and that's what they do. If you put fine particles of material in the air where clouds form, the little tiny droplets of water are either absorbed or blocked from coalescing, getting big enough to fall as rain. So it inhibits the fall of rain.
Or does it change also the complexity of the cloud, or it doesn't even form?
Well, it changes a lot of things, and ultimately, it also, there are other things that it does. You might think, or people might try to deceive you into thinking, well, it reflects some sunlight away. I mean, this is what the geoscientists are trying to promote, future geoengineering, where they put particles in the air to serve as a sunshade for the Earth. Well, this is nonsense, because what happens when you put particles in the air is that, yes, some solar radiation will be reflected, but some will be absorbed, and the bombardment of the particles with air molecules will take some of that heat away. Some of it will be re-radiated, so it'll heat the atmosphere. Moreover, it keeps heat from leaving the Earth. You probably remember back many years ago in California, if you were invited to a barbecue at night, and you arrived in, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd have a jacket with you.
Yeah.
Because when the sun went down...
It's chilly. Desert chilly.
Yes, well, it doesn't do that anymore.
Not as bad, you're right.
Because these particles, they trap heat from leaving the Earth.
Okay, so assuming they're doing all this, and they're spraying this ash to minimize rain, why do it to us?
Okay, well, one thing it does is it heats the atmosphere, and it keeps the Earth's heat from leaving. In other words, it causes global warming. And the UN and the scientific community, the so-called...
So global warming may very well be man-made.
It is. So this is the biggest science-based scam ever perpetrated. And it's the UN is behind it 100%. Their 1,500 scientists are claiming from their phony baloney models that do not take into account the spraying.
So, Marvin, are you saying that they are increasing the temperature of the planet, creating this climate change, and now, of course, I'm going to ask you if it's all about money?
Oh, it's about a lot of things.